Okay, since I am getting ready to teach this year's playing card divination class, I just wanted to do an updated of my favorite decks, playing card decks, but focused on divination. And I'm also going to show some of my other favorite decks just to show my complete favorite collection and why those are not in my favorites in terms of divination. So these are favorite decks, but they're also favorite decks that I use in divination and playing card divination. And so we're going to look at these first and see why. And again, this is very subjective to each person, but people always ask, so I thought I'm going to do an updated. And then I'm going to show some of my other absolute favorite playing card decks and a little bit why they aren't favorites to use for divination. That's kind of my thing. So I'm going to start here because this deck has been reigning supreme for as long as I've had this. So this was a Kickstarter. It is called The Eye of the Ocean, and it is by I need to get my glasses because it's going to be this is by Stockholm 17. I love their decks, but this was a whole big Kickstarter that had like codes, and you would go through and like decode it, and it came with some kind of a big decoder book. I don't know anything about that, so if you have any questions about that, you'll have to find somebody else to get that. I don't know if you can even still pick that up. I might get it if you can out of curiosity, but I just purchased a deck of the cards for divination, and I love this deck. It has not left my table since I got it in. I like that it's not stark white, so it's not super glaring, although I do like white decks as well, but I do like that it's not stark white. I love the map. It gives some interest without being disruptive. I like the style. They're very classic looking court cards, but at the same time, really cool looking, right? So they're just beautifully done. Again, their work is amazing. So I love that. I love their aces are pop and are absolutely gorgeous. But at the same time, they look like aces and they're very clearly aces. I also like, and you'll see it probably theme in some of my favorite decks, I really like distressed looks on the pips and things. That's something I enjoy. So it's just beautiful. It holds the standard formation of the pips, which is important to me for divination. So it holds that standard formation. It's beautiful. It's appealing visually, but then the visual appealingness doesn't get in the way of just getting down to business of reading. So it's stunning. Stockholm 17, you can go to their website. These are just like extra cards for it. The box is absolutely amazing as well. So it's just beautiful. I love this deck. I use it. Really, I've used it for almost all of my Cartomancy quickies. If I just, on my table, if I just want, for the last who knows how long, if I just doing plain, I just want the playing cards, this is not, I've used this a ton. I absolutely love everything about that deck. So that's definitely reigning supreme at the moment for straight playing card divination. Now this is the Arcana Tarot playing cards. This is by Dead on Paper. They also have Tarot Arcana, the full tarot deck, which I have the black version of that I use constantly in terms of tarot. But I first purchased this one. I don't think the tarot was out when I first purchased this. Has one of my all-time favorite backs. I just love the backing. Again, it's gorgeous. We've got the playing card indices. We do have the associations to the tarot associations there as well. Beautiful aces, beautiful pips that don't get in the way, stunning, stunning, stunning court cards. It's just gorgeous. Like there's nothing to not like about this. I think these are, yeah. And so these are four of the tarot majors. I think it was kind of teasing probably the majors coming out. And so then you can get this and I recommend just getting it as a tarot deck and pulling out if you just want the minors. Although you can, I have on my road with Nellie's deck, I have started to use just a full tarot with my cartomancy playing card style readings, and this is a great deck to do that with the tarot Arcana playing cards. But this was the first one that I purchased, and I've used this a ton. It's just beautiful. It fits. It's just gorgeous. Like, there's nothing I don't love about this. And I've used it a ton for divination. So these two are probably equal in my love and my use in terms of divination. And truthfully, this one is probably equally up here as well. And these are also equal in terms of, these are top tier favorite, all-time favorite playing card decks for me. But this Faunae deck is so absolutely stunning. I most definitely need to get my glasses. 1 second. Okay. I can hopefully be able to read it. bvargo.com. Again, I don't know, this I know is still, you can still purchase this. I'm going to assume that you can still at least purchase the card deck. I don't know that you can purchase the whole kit and caboodle of the Kickstarter, but I'm pretty sure you'll probably be able to get these as playing cards. But these are all like indie decks, right? These are not, I guess that's what you would call them, although I think that's more of a tarot term, but these are decks that are more indie. You're going to go to independent publishers' websites, versus say like a bicycle deck. So I've been collecting playing cards way longer than I've collected any other kind of cards. As soon as I was married, I loved playing cards when I was a kid. My family, especially my dad's side of the family, played tons of cards as just social interaction. Then when they went into fundamental religion where playing cards were evil, like we couldn't have playing cards. So of course, as soon as I was out of the house, the first thing I did was started collecting playing cards. Of course, right? This is how it works. So I've been collecting playing cards for a very, very long time. I know I have videos on here, at least my last full collection. I'll try to remember to link it below. Anyways, this is stunning. And there are two versions of this. And I think my other version might be down at the cabin. I'm not sure. But anyways, there's a version that has different color, 4 colored suits. I do love 4 colored suit decks, but I'm not for divination. You really just need to keep that clean, clear color separation. But this is just stunning. Again, the aces are absolutely gorgeous. The pips are gorgeous. And what I love is that even though they're beautiful leaf shapes, they stay, primarily stay close to the original shapes, with some kind of stretching a little bit sometimes, but it's very similar to the original shapes. The court cards are so gorgeous. I just love this, right? It just feeds my soul just to visually look at this and use this. I've used it a lot for divination. The black and, well, it's really dark blue and red, but it's close enough. And so it's one of my all-time favorites. Absolutely adore using that deck. Now, when it comes to more of a straight up playing card deck, this is another, is this another Stockholm? Yeah, this is another Stockholm 17 deck. I love their decks. I don't know what to tell you. I've got another in my favorite list as well. I just don't use that one for divination. But this is called the Rook, obviously. And it's just more of a just straight up playing card deck, right? It's gorgeous. It's got very traditional court cards. It's got your, I mean, it just is a really beautifully done, but of course, crows and ravens are really important to me. So having the rooks on the back is that bit of magic, bringing in a messenger of all messengers to help get the messages. I love the knotwork feel of it. So just as like a straight playing card deck, it's absolutely stunning. The card stock is gorgeous, but it is a pretty just, straight playing card deck. It just It really doesn't have any visuals that gets in the way of it just being a good, beautiful playing card deck with ravens in it. So that is one that I have out often for divination, although the one that I keep out is actually this mini one. So this is a mini version of it, and it's in red and black. This is sort of my go-to mini deck. In case you want to put like all of the cards on the table. Again, just a good, straight, simple, clean, beautiful, but we've got the energy of the rooks in there, and you know, I can riffle shuffle it even though it is little because it's good playing card stock. So I tell people, if you're going to do a deck that is a playing card size or smaller, you really want playing card size or playing card stock so that it shuffles well. But that's just personal. Those are the jokers. I just always put the jokers face forward so that I can easily pull them off when I go to read. But this stays out on my table all the time as sort of the mini deck of choice, although I'll show you another set of mini decks that I love. Right now, these two have been on the table for quite a while, but all of these have gotten much use and play. I have another, but it's not here. It's down at the cabin, and it's a newer one that's just kind of been hanging out there that I love. But these are definitely my top favorite here of decks. Again, and we're finishing this off. Now, this is a bicycle. I love this deck so much. I can't even tell you. It's a bicycle playing card deck. It's a standard, exactly how you know and love your court cards to be. It is a standard playing card deck, but the back are all different colors and different style backs. Now, there is a version of this, and I can't find it, but I didn't pull like all of my decks out. But there is a version of this that has the exact same backs, because I know this bothers some people. I'm looking at a couple people I know in particular that this bothers. But if having the different, literal different deck backs bothers you, there is a version of this where it's all different colors like this, but it's the same standard bicycle back. I love this. You know, I searched this out because I was reading a book on folk playing card divination. And one of the things that that the author mentioned was that, you know, their mother's or their grandmother's deck, you know, was a hodgepodge of backs because, you know, if she would lose a card or a card would get bent or ruined, she just grab another card from another deck and add it in. And, you know, over time that just becomes this beautiful compilation of card backs. And I just love the energy of that. I adore this deck. I most definitely use this for playing card divination. It's probably my favorite standard, other than the rooks. It's probably for these two, but this to me would even trump the rook for just a standard playing card deck for divination, because it magically inspires me energetically, and I just love it. I love everything about it. You can get these on Amazon. It is called the Bicycle Rainbow Deck, a variety of 56 colorful backs. Again, there's another one that has the same back, but just the colors that you can find as well if the differing backs bug you. But big time favorite for me there. So those are sort of my top tier. Any one of these makes me happy and has seen a lot of use in playing card divination. I cannot, you know, not say, obviously I created, this is a version of Nellie. This is my older, I think there's some cards that have probably shifted, but this is all of the 56 minors pulled out. So these are obviously 52 card decks. Playing card decks actually across time and even currently, different countries, different playing card decks are different size decks. So having 4 courts is not unseen historically. Having less number cards, of course, is still being used across different countries. So a variety in size of decks is very normal. So I really have no issue using a 56 card deck. It doesn't change the way that I read cartomancy. So obviously Nellie's deck, this is my deck. It was created first with the playing card indices. So the upper left-hand corner are the playing card indices. The knights are not knights, they are jacks. And then I do have a page. So I have page, jack, queen, and king. Sometimes you have 4 deputies, sometimes you have 4 governors. Like, there's all different varieties of courts, and so I really have no issue doing everything I do, including solitaire, with the extra court card there. But you can see the upper left hand corner are the playing card indices, and that was the first focus. So focus 1 was the playing cards. Focus 2 was the symbol deck, which were, you know, placed on, including the Lenormand cards, placed on the playing card indices that make sense to the way that I read playing card divination. And then third and last was the tarot, and that was just making sure that the that it didn't get, that the image that was there didn't get in the way of tarot. It's not meant to represent the tarot. So this is more like a tarot pip deck, with the other card things coming in and giving you a way to be able to get at that meaning a different way. I originally was going to have these little indices for the actual pips of the playing cards. I, you know, made out the pips and I had the images that they could go down there. But I decided that, you know, overall that was too busy. But as I'm getting ready to teach playing cards, I popped it on there so I can use this. For example, I don't need these because I just see them, right? If I see a 9, I know what the 9 looks like, because I've been reading playing cards for so long. But for teaching, I wanted to make sure those were there. But yeah, so obviously I used Nellie's almost exclusively, and I always thought that I would take the majors out. This one is just the minors, but I actually use the majors, and it's just become an absolute joy to use them in playing card divination, just because that is, you know, tarot is a playing card deck. It's just got some trumps, and you just have to figure out what you're doing with them. So these all together definitely depict my absolute favorite decks. I want clean, clear decks. I want, if they have, which all of them obviously do, but this, if the pips for me, I prefer to be in the traditional setting because those have meaning to them. It doesn't mean that I can't use others, because I can, just like I can use a deck that doesn't have the indices. But for it to be like a top tier divination deck for me, I like the traditional format of the pips. For that's just me, what I prefer. So these are them. I love all of these. All of these have seen a lot of divination use. But let's take a look at the rest of sort of my top favorite playing card decks. And obviously, other than Nellie's deck, what we're looking at right now are just straight playing card decks. I'll show you a couple of others that have already crossovers into divination. That's sort of another category. Truly Nellie's deck obviously belongs there, but I use this as a straight up playing card deck because that's how I created it. But this truly belongs more in another category. But it is, I use this so much that it has to obviously go up here with these. So these are other decks. Again, I have a ton of decks. And I love them all for different reasons, but these are definitely strong contenders of favorite decks that I have. I love this. This is called the Contraband. Somebody had asked me recently, I have the Hope Lenormand that I made out of distressing and using stencils on a Contraband deck. Somebody was asking me what deck that was that I used, but it was this Contraband deck. Again, you can see it's got that already distressing on it. I love the clean, but almost black and white, but just really, I guess that's gold. Yeah, looks like black and gold, but it's just, and then black and red for the red colored suits. It's just, again, beautiful, clean, a little bit of distressing. It shuffles like cardstock wise. It's one of my all-time favorites. You can get this at like Barnes and Nobles. I'm sure you can get it on probably on Amazon. I have no clue, but this is really what just a good solid playing card deck for playing games or divination. There's really no reason I wouldn't use this for divination either. It doesn't tend to end, these again just are the ones that end up on my table, but this is one I would have no compunction against using for divination either. So I absolutely love that. Whereas, so these let's talk about the ones. This is another of the Stockholm 17 decks, which was, I think, my very first Stockholm 17, and it's called House of the Rising Spade. Am I saying that right? House of the Rising Spade, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, House of the Rising Spade. This is stunning. They have a tarot deck that expands this that I also love. My only reason why I don't use this for playing card divination is because it changes the pips. It adds like these rooms, which is really cool, but it starts to take it slightly into, like, you could start to make some interpretations on the rooms. Again, the layout of the pips are not the traditional. They're gorgeous though. I have used this. Again, it's not that I can't use this or won't use these types of deck for divination, but this is my preference. So I'm not even just getting distracted by any of this, and I'm just going down to business. I'm not thinking about the library at all with the, with the Ace of Hearts. So I do and can and have used this in divination, but it's not my preference. But it is one of my absolute favorite playing card decks. No question, it's up there, as you can see. Same thing with I love this. This was a Kickstarter. This is a Lord of the Rings playing card deck. I love this. I love Lord of the Rings. I like actually that the pips are laid out traditionally, but the reason I wouldn't use this is I would ascribe meaning, right, to the people that are showing up, to the ring, there are things in here that would turn this closer into more of an oracle-y sided playing. There's nothing wrong with those, but just in terms of picking it up, I don't want to be leaning into Gandalf energy when I'm reading that particular card, and so on with all of these, right? So it would just pull me into the energy of Lord of the Rings, and so it would skew the type of message that I was giving, which again makes sense. So that's not bad, but for straight up playing card reading, you really don't want to do that. So I love, love, love this deck. It's in my favorites, but it's not one that I use for playing card divination. This is one I do love so much. This is a bicycle Aviary. I love this deck. I just love the aesthetics of the back. I like the owl there. This one I most 100% could be in for divination. There's nothing here that would stop me. I just like the distressedness on it. I absolutely love the style of the quartz. Again, they look traditional, but with a very, a different take on the aesthetics of it. Absolutely love this deck. It's just one of my favorite decks. And 100% could use this for divination. I don't take it out as much. Again, I just kind of have fallen into, there's just certain decks that stay in my sort of divination space. But this is definitely one that I would pick up and read with and have. Same thing with the Faunae. I definitely used this for a while. It was sat on my table for divination. Pulling out the quartz or the jokers. I used to throw the jokers away. All of my early decks collection, I would open up the pack, take the jokers, throw them out. It was just something that I did. I didn't play any games that needed the jokers, and I didn't use them in divination, and so I would just take them out and throw them out. I do not do that anymore. I put them again face on top, but you can tell how long I've had a deck in my collection because if it's missing the jokers. But again, I really like the knot work here. I like the court cards. They are, Fey energy, but there's nothing on here 100% screaming like who the Fae particularly is. So I can just really treat them this very much like just standard court cards. So I do love this deck, and I have used this for playing card divination. It's like I said, it sat on my table for quite a while, but I just love this deck. There's another one I think by Bicycle that is like mythological creatures. It's kind of in the, I don't know if it's the same artist. I need to look into that because I've been meaning to pick that up. I'm gonna get to this because this is kind of more of an indie one. This is one of my all-time favorite decks. This is Bicycle, but it's called the Hesslers Enhanced. There is a regular Hesslers that isn't as pretty as this one, but still has the 4 colors. So this has a color for each suit. So the clubs are green, the spades are blue, the hearts are red, and the diamonds are yellow. Again, the Faunae has one version of it that also has 4 colors, and then there's a different one. I think there's not scripty writing on it. It's not, this is the enhanced that you can also get. I do actually really love these decks, but in terms of if I use this consistently, obviously that wouldn't matter. But when I'm just trying to, again, when you're trying to just get down to the business of reading, you don't want to stop and kind of think through. You want to see those colors that you're used to seeing, the black and red, and then in Nellie's deck, the sepia tone of the keys. Those are just, you know, I don't want to think about it. I just want to look and see and know exactly what I'm seeing without stopping. But I adore this deck. It's one of my all-time favorites, along with the Fauna version that's like that. I love this. Queen Offset sent me this, and then I think I picked up another one of these because I think I have one of these down at the cabin. But this is a Hanafuda. So Hanafuda is a style of little chip cards. They're almost like plastic chips. Not thick like a mahjong, but thinner, but they're really cool. I've done some studying on, yeah, this one is still in order. I have one that I've shuffled up. I've used this. I just think it's gorgeous. I like the coloration. It's expanded. The Hanafuda deck, I think, doesn't have 4 quartz or something. I know that's added in, or it only has 3. I don't know. There's something I know that shifted on this one to make it fit a 52 card deck. But I just really like this deck. It makes me happy. It's just beautiful. Obviously I don't use, and I have uses for divination. Obviously, again, I can with Nellie's. I don't need the pips, but obviously the pips are not in any kind of traditional shaping, so I don't tend to pull this out, but I have used it, and I do use it now and again when I'm just in the mood for it. But it's one of my favorites. This deck makes me really happy. That is a bicycle. Yep, that's a bicycle deck. It's called Bicycle Sparrow Hanafuda, and you can play Hanafuda, and there is some styles of Hanafuda divination. It's hard to get any clear information about it. I have a little bit. I can't remember if I ever put that video out or not, but anyways, but it's just as a playing card deck, it's one of my favorites. I really love this one. This is National Parks. You can pick this up, I think, at like Barnes and Nobles. It's of that same quality of like the Contraband. Like it has these sort of matte embossed boxes, and I just love the way these, I don't know if it's all the same company. I don't know if I can even read these to tell you that. Nope. This says Theory 2. I can't in the big at all tell what this is, but anyways, I like this one because again, standard playing card, but the court cards our national parks, as it's called, national parks, but they're just beautiful. And they're, you know, I don't really do anything with the courts. A jack is a jack is a jack, the queen is a queen is a queen. It doesn't really matter to me. So these don't really get in the way in terms of divination. You've got your standard pips, they're nice, they're clean, they shuffle. So this one I 100% use for divination. I like how it shuffles, I like how it looks. It's just beautiful. It's just nice and clean and a beautiful reader. But it's not one that is, again, these are, it's not made my sort of tight knit, this is for divination, but doesn't mean it has never been used for divination, because it is a clean pip reader. And this is one of my favorite. I have not seen him around as much anymore. I think his name is in here, from Colin of Dry Ocean Tarot. He has a tarot deck he did as well. But this is not for publication. You can't get these, at least you couldn't at the time, unless something's come out that I've missed. But I love what he did with his this playing card deck. They are so gorgeous. Like, I just, this deck gives me all the color feels. Like, it feels like a playing card version of my Story in Color Lenormand. The same kind of color feels that I get. I get that hit with this deck. I just love this deck. It's really one of my all-time favorite decks. It's so gorgeous. It can most definitely be used. I want to say it's not exactly the standard pips, but it's very close. And it's just gorgeous. It's one of my all-time favorite decks. I don't believe this has ever come into being published. If it ever does, I would snag it because it's gorgeous. So again, I have tons of playing cards, but these are probably my absolute favorites. They're certainly on my top list. Uh, when I take out, I've got another pile of ones that lean towards divination. But then again, these are my top for actual use with divination. So, which is kind of what the purpose of this video was for, but it's gone off into all the playing card things. So there you go. There's an updated look at favorite playing card decks, but then the ones that I absolutely use all the time for divination, top tier as I keep calling it, are here. Now, there are, of course, decks that are more on the Nellie side of things, where they are playing card decks, but there are added elements of divination added in. Of course, there's more than just what I have here, but I did want to talk about those really quickly, because I know, again, especially for people that are going to take the class, they kind of ask about these. But even things such as like the maybe Lenormand, where it has a full deck of cards, the 36 playing Lenormand, but then it's expanded outwardly to fill out the full 52 card deck. Of course, you see it a little more like obvious to the playing card in the one of my favorites, which is Robert M. Place's the Hermes playing cards, because the playing card reigns supreme, is the bulk of the card. It looks like a playing card deck and just has the images in the middle. Now these are 52 card. Nellie's is 56 because it's a full tarot deck, but these are 52 card playing card decks with all the Lenormand symbols plus extra divinatory symbols. I have walkthroughs of these decks, but these are gorgeous because, again, you can do all of your divination, but they also connect in the Lenormand. Now, for me, it's slightly problematic because you have to pick one or the other, because Western playing card divination doesn't mesh up with symbols of Lenormand as they were originally put on, because that is German playing card suits, and so it doesn't line up the way that Western cartomancers would work with those suits. Nellie's, I changed the Lenormand to go onto cards that make sense to me. Again, not everybody's cup of tea, but it makes sense to me. But these, again, playing card decks, you can do all the things with them. That's the the joy of Lenormand. You can play all the games, and then you can, you know, play up a game of oracles as well, but it has extra divinatory things. Learning playing card divination, I would, you know, just focus on playing cards themselves, but I wanted to at least mention these that I have in my collection. I don't believe you can get these anymore. I do really love these, but this is by the same people who did the 1889 Lenormand for the Seeker's Caravan of Seers, I believe is what it's called. And there were different levels, like some of them, like this one, I think I've got one somewhere else, but this one doesn't have any keywords on them, but it has images that relate to the way that they associate to each of the cards. Then they had another layer that had keywords on it, so that you would have the keywords right on the cards. Again, this is their system of playing card divination. So I love these kind of decks, but I've never really get much use out of them because I have my particular way of reading playing cards, so which doesn't involve like memorizing keywords. It's just built on the numbers and the suits and the colors, and then sort of the way in which those things weight and influence each other. But I do love the idea of these. So again, this is playing card deck, but it is made specifically for divination. Something as simple as the Bob Ross. You all know how much I love this deck. This is the Bob Ross, and it has quotes from Bob Ross on it. So not only is it a playing card deck, but you can, you know, shuffle up and, you know, pull a card. Anytime you learn, you gain. The things that you learn in this moment, you are getting something out of it versus just looking at playing cards. So it becomes sort of an oracle in its own right, as well as a playing card deck. This, of course, is James Eade's gorgeous Portals. Now, this is a system. Like, this is something you have to, I don't know, I must have shuffled it in. Oh, there it is, other Joker. This is a playing card deck, but it also has a system of divination built into it that you certainly need to take the time to at least learn, or at least come to an idea of your feelings about all of the portals and things. Well worth it, but again, it's its own thing. It's a playing card deck with its own system put onto it, and so you would need to obviously take some work to learn that system. Another example of that would be the playing card oracles by Anna Cortez. Her father, I believe, well, I know her father painted the cards, but I believe her father also kind of came up with the playing card divination system. So this has a system to it that's associated with different things that are associated to it. And so I know she teaches classes, and I know there's a book that goes with it, but this would be not just straight playing card divination, but playing card divination with added system added to it that you would want to learn to work with on top of the base, or I don't know if it's on top, I don't know, but you know, it's in conjunction with the base playing card. Other decks like that, I've got it out because I need to do a walkthrough of it. Stephen Bright, who I love the things that he does. He has the Inner Eye Oracle, which is a 52 card playing card deck with added again symbols for to add into sort of how you would read those cards. So again, this is a playing card style reading deck, but it has a system then that is there and a guidebook to help you through that. So again, these are all more specific to, they're not just playing card decks, they've got added components. And so if you're learning straight playing cards, these are not what you'll want to use just for getting your base of playing cards down, but they're wonderful to utilize. Now, this is a straight playing card deck, much like the Bob Ross, but it has the full, this is called Wagner's Ring, 55 illustrated illustrations by Arthur Rackham. This is really gorgeous, and it has scenes, and it has the names of the scene, has the people involved, the names of the scene. This is really gorgeous. I can't really use this as a straight playing card deck because I tend to use it more as an oracle deck to Ragnar's Ring and to Rackham's images. So this to me just functions more as an oracle deck than as a playing card deck. And certainly I don't associate like the numbers of the cards that, you know, is necessarily going exactly to whatever image is on there. So for me, this is more just like a straight oracle deck that somebody had put onto a playing card pack of playing cards. But, and again, this isn't meant to be, this is just meant to be a beautiful playing card deck, but certainly can function as an oracle. This was sent to me. This is called Key to the Kingdom, an enchanted deck. I haven't had a chance to play around with this, but I love, again, this feels very oracle-y, whether or not, and it's got little rhymes in it as well for some of, I don't know if it's all of the cards, but it's really cool. This to me, again, slides into that mix of oracle and playing card divination, and so it's kind of got its own thing going on. So these kinds of decks are really cool, and there's more of them, but these are the ones that I have out and about that are taking a playing card. We see this obviously with Lenormand. We see that was done with Lenormand. We see this with Sibylla, right? These are, I should have a Sibylla deck here because that goes in here 100%. A Sibylla deck where you're taking the 52 playing cards, but there's a deliberate lean into, for most of these, I don't believe Bob Ross or this one was meant to be divinatory, but for the most part, there are sets that are playing cards that have deliberately added a component of divination in utilizing the structure of playing cards to add that. And certainly Nellie's deck is the same way, although again, the primary function at the very beginning, the first rule of engagement with Nellie's is a playing card indices, and then it kind of builds from there. But yeah, that's like a subcategory. So I just wanted to show those because they are there and cool, but in terms of, again, just straight up playing card divination, these, and then obviously like the Tarot Arcana playing cards, if you want to add your majors in, and obviously Nellie's deck, Tarot Arcana playing cards, the playing card tarot that looks like old style playing cards, but it fills it out all the way in the same style. Those are fantastic because it allows you to put your skills of playing card divination and just add in the trumps of the major arcana. So those are great expansions because a tarot deck is it's a playing card deck that just has the majors that comes in and trumps the minors. So you can read it in the same ways, especially if you get a nice clean deck that allows you to do that. So, okay, I'm done. I just wanted to, as I was pulling decks out and things like that, prepping for classes coming Saturday, I just thought it's time for an update for the students and just for people who are interested in seeing favorites and things like that. So I hope that this was interesting and that you have a wonderful rest of your night or day.